think it's.
But we got sidetracked because we were talking about communism earlier, and like a lot of this, a lot of what happened devolved into like this mini communist revolution during the summer with like a lot of the BLM stuff. And ultimately, I think that the best way to revolt against like a corrupt capitalist system is to just beat them at capitalism. Like what's happening on Robinhood, a lot of like these hedge funds lost a fuck ton of money because of just regular people saying, fuck this, we're taking matters in our own hands, and we're going to buy up a whole bunch of the companies that these hedge funds are shorting.
Right.
So I think ultimately what we should be doing...
I'm learning more about... I don't know enough about
what
that,
we
so
need
you're
to,
putting me
like,
on.
what we should be doing is, and this kind of like, I tried to run for city council, and one of the things in my platform was like, we need to provide like financial literacy programs comprehensively in black neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And teach people like how to invest in the stock market, like what a P ratio is,
that would be
like
nice,
you know what I mean, like how to read a balance
because
sheet. Like,
you were taught stocks
a little bit. I mean,
See, I never was.
Like I learned some basics. I have friends who work on Wall Street. I ask them questions. I have resources
but I mean, like,
where I
asked
can
you
ask
coming
people
up
questions
as a child,
and
like,
learn.
Were your parents in the stocks?
No.
And well, see, yeah, most people like on the other side do come up with like learning stocks.
Yeah,
we did.
My mom and dad were not into it, but you know, we have family that knew stuff, and I had friends that went to
we
college.
need to have family. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. I had friends who went to college, so I was able to learn this stuff, and I'm like, well, dude, that's a privilege that I got to learn this.
Right.
That's
100%.
a huge privilege, right? And it's like, why weren't you able to learn that, right? Why aren't they teaching that in communities of color that are like historically poor through no fault of their own because of redlining and because banks didn't lend money to black businesses and do all that stuff? Like, why aren't we putting money into teaching financial literacy programs in black neighborhoods? Like, imagine, like, imagine the change that could happen if, like, a bunch of, if a bunch of like poor black kids were like didn't like how what a company was doing, and they said, hey man, we're all gonna at the same time short this company. A bunch of high school kids got together and said, yo, we're gonna short this company. Hey, we're gonna do what they did on Robinhood. There was a bunch of high school kids that did that. Right. Imagine that. Or a bunch of college kids from like Howard University or something. Like imagine the possibilities that could happen to really dismantle the system. You don't have to shed any blood. You don't have to do any bloodshed, dude. Or if you
I guess that's the separation now, is the not the, I guess, I don't know if that's a word, but you're right. Like the displacing of information. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's what I mean. Like it's a distraction. Like, and then if they required every NBA player and NFL player to spend 200 hours during their rookie year with a financial expert that was to have no part in their career afterwards, and their only job was to just teach them like financial literacy and how to do basic investing, you'd revolutionize wealth in Black America in 50 years.
Man, that's what it's about.
You know what I mean? You would literally change the whole ballgame up. That's like over $1 billion in salaries per year for all these sports. Most of these people are black, right? Like, imagine.
No, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Change the whole fucking game up. Like,
that's what it's about.
With no money being spent by the taxpayer, it's such an easy solution.
Generational wealth for sure. Yeah,
we got to build that. Like, that's important.
And that's important. That's important.